this, just so everybody, recording is in progress. And what I do is I record these sessions and then I post them for the YouTube channel so you guys can go back and watch them again. There's a series of them. They're repetitive, but each week we cover things a little bit differently because there's some nuances, some changes to one, depending on how I'm feeling. Two, what is new that is rolled out in Command for that particular week. So there may be some subtle changes. You don't need to go back and watch them all, but they are there in Prosperity. First and foremost is understanding Command. What is Command? When I call that the KW big Y. Okay. So has anybody heard of Zillow? Okay. You're starting to see some advertising, some commercials from them now about what they truly are and what they have been and what their intentions have been for quite some time. That Zillow is now a competitor. They are now a broker. Most people don't understand that. And this is something we've been watching happen unfold for years. And the scary thing about it is that not only are they a broker, they're a broker and a national organization that has been 100% funded by us, the agents. That kind of stew on you for a minute because it should. The agents themselves have funded a competitor. You know why? Because agents like the easy button. Remember that the easy button from Staples, right? Agents like the easy button. Through the easy button, they created the monster that is Zillow, right? And those of you that are new, you're not to blame, nor to your fault, but you do need to understand that's the realities of where we are now. And it's not just Zillow, right? There's venture capital, and they use the term disruption, right? We think about market disruption. Right? Those of you who are old like me, maybe at one point in time had a Blockbuster video card. Do you remember that? Right? There's a really cool thing on Netflix right now called Remembering the Last Blockbuster, because there's actually one Blockbuster that's left. But for those of you that don't know, we used to have to go and rent our videos in a store before we could stream and download things. I know it's kind of scary and odd and like, what? That's chaos. But that's the realistic nature of what it was. Blockbuster was the place. It was a monster organization. We all went there. They were as prevalent as Walgreens and CVS on every street corner, right? Where are they now? There literally is one left, and it's somewhere up in Oregon. Okay. What happened was they didn't adapt. They didn't change, and there was some ignorance into what they did. And then they've been replaced by streaming services, right? Netflix. We're all familiar with Netflix. We all have a Netflix membership. Heck, now you probably have a Netflix, a Hulu, an HBO Max, a Prime Video, you name it. That's where we're going now. But Netflix opened the door for that, right? And Blockbuster went away. That was disruption. They changed the marketplace. That's what Zillow was doing, and now venture capital, money coming into the industry, is trying to do to all of us. Different organizations, Redfin, Zillow, right? These open homes, the ability to remove the realtor from the transaction. Why? Well, there's a tremendous amount of money that's up for grabs through commissions in our world. And we, as the associates, realtors, right? Not everybody's a realtor, right, Barbara? You have a license, you can be a licensed and not be a realtor. But us realtors, our professionals, okay, understand that we are in the middle of the transaction. We are the fiduciary, and we wear a lot of hats, and we are not easily replaceable. But we have to fight for the right to represent our consumers. I don't want to go all Beastie Boys on you, right? But that's real. Zillow wants to replace us all, take the commissions for themselves, and basically just have us, as opposed to showing assistance, paying us $50 a transaction to go open doors. That's what Redfin does, right? Did you know that basically when you're an agent for Redfin, you're basically an employee? They keep all the transaction and you get paid a wage, right? There's too much work in this business. Like I'm an independent business owner, as are all of you. If you don't realize it, you are independent business owners. You're an entrepreneur. So congratulations for taking that step. But you have to take it seriously. It's a serious step. So what has happened over the years, and I've watched this unfold, I've been a licensed realtor for 14 years, right? Barbara's got me only by about a year or two. But 14 years I've been licensed in this world. And I've seen a lot of things happen and change, okay? And over time, especially in the most recent years, what we've seen happen are consolidation or buyouts of companies. And I talk about our business partners in that capacity, right? So we used to partner with a company called Market Leader. That was who our database was through in partnership with KW. We provided a database for our agents. And there was things that happened on the back. There was a website involved with that, but they were a third-party company. And what happened to third-party companies, or what does happen to third-party companies? They're prone to be acquired and bought out. We're in the world of big data now, right? Our contacts in a database is valuable information. You need to protect that. So Market Leader got purchased by this company called Zillow. Okay, it's probably about 5 or 6 years ago now. That was the first salvo. Second, we used a company called Dotloop. Dotloop was our digital library for contracts, e-signatures, okay, writing contracts. And believe it or not, there was a point in time where we had to write everything down, but this replaced a lot of that. And we could do things not through a typewriter, but through our computers, okay? Guess who bought Dotloop? Anybody want to guess? You're right, Zillow. So not only was KW as an organization under fire, the real estate industry as a whole was under fire. Why would they purchase those organizations? For data, for information, right? And all the while they kept doing these things and they kept saying, we have no interest in being a brokerage. Well, guess what are they? What are they now, Barbara?
A brokerage.
They're a brokerage. And they're licensed in Virginia, okay? The agents, all they worried about was, well, Zillow's feeding me leads, or I'm paying Zillow for leads. And they didn't understand what was actually happening on the demand. We funded them to grow them, to become the monster that they are, and then to buy us out. That's the reality of it all. So Gary, KW, a number of years ago, stood up on stage and said, we're no longer a real estate company. We're now a technology company. It's a pretty audacious statement from somebody that's been in the real estate industry since 1982, right? And a lot of people didn't understand that, what he meant. Well, here's what he meant. We have to become a technology company in order to survive, to protect the associate, to be the fiduciary in the transaction, and to protect your data. It's not KW's data, it's your data. You work hard to establish these relationships through your sphere of influence and bring these people into the fold, into your world. And their contact information belongs to you and nobody else. Well, here's the scary thing. You guys give away this information all the time through this device called a phone. Because every time you download an app, I'm not going to say everybody, but I'm going to say the 99.999% of you that download an app and don't read the terms on the back end and click allow, 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 allow. What are you giving away? Contacts, location, data, phone, data, email, data, all kinds of information is being read. So we've given away a lot of that on the back end already. So KW said enough. We're going to protect our associates and we're going to build our own platform. We're not going to go out and buy something off the shelf to give to you guys now. We're not going to expect you to go out and buy something off the shelf. We're going to give something for you. So we became a technology company and built up command from the ground level. Now, as I said, that's craziness. Here's a guy, Gary, he's in his 60s, could be sitting on the beach drinking pina coladas with Jimmy Buffett. Like he's got that kind of mouth, that kind of money, and doesn't need to spend $1 billion in tech, but he's doing it anyway, right? He believes more about the associates' businesses than a lot of the agents themselves. And I need that to be a wake-up call for all of you that's coming into the business. And it's also why I congratulate you to be an entrepreneur, right? This should not be a part-time, haphazard thing for you guys. You're going to take this seriously. You're building a business now. You're growing. You're replacing income. You're looking to move away from maybe one industry to another. Doesn't mean you might not be part-time now. But you're a business owner, okay? And Gary supports us. Gary supports you, and he's fighting the good fight and investing in technology for you. So that's the big why. And I hope you feel the passion coming through me because it's something I truly believe in, because that's the story that doesn't get told well enough. It's a bumpy ride at times. Not everything works the way that we want it. I'm not wearing my shirt today, but I have a shirt that says tech happens because it does. Stuff breaks. We break it, we improve it, and we break other things. So there's going to be a day-to-days where you have to go, oh, it's a little stressful. That's okay. we're doing this for you. We're giving you things at zero cost. When by zero cost, it costs you $25 a month to get what other agents pay thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a year to have. Right? That's what Gary believes. He believes that this is a tool for you to have in your business. So as you, over the next 8 days, when we talk about command and go into a detailed approach of how you will utilize it in your business, you're going to see what took 4 years to build and is never finished. So you'll hear us talk about this is a platform that was built for agents by agents. And what does that mean? Well, it means when we went out and built the platform, and I say we, KW, right? I work for the region, I work for KW, and I'm a licensed realtor, right? So I'm not just a technologist teaching you how to fill in the blanks here. A lot of the things that I'm going to talk about over the next couple of days, I'm going to talk about have something to do around this red book, right? Leads, listings, and leverage, because command is to make your life easier in that capacity. But working through the next 8 days, you're going to understand how to build your business and leverage this platform. This is not something you're going to master in 100 days. It's not hard. It's overwhelming. There's a lot there. It's one platform, like your cell phone, that has a bunch of applets inside it. Right? Campaigns, designs, contacts, websites, mobile applications, whiteboards, transaction to close, contract writing, e-signatures, commissions, payouts. Everything you do to run your business is available through this single platform. So while you'll learn it over the next 8 days, you certainly won't master it. As long as you're okay with that, you'll get there, right? Any questions so far? Kind of get where I'm coming from. You believe that I'm motivated about where I'm coming from. Barbara, you've heard me tell this story. Have I wavered off of this at all?
No, not at all. It's been fantastic. I've been in this business. I've seen it through the times that multiple listing wasn't even online. They delivered the listings every day to your office, and you cut the little sheets up and filed them.
Yep. Right.
All the way to here. And to me, and that's why I'm on this call. I've been trying my best to learn this program.
The great thing is, and Barbara, you're spot on, right? Barbara has been with this journey and she continues to learn and she reattends because she knows that things are constantly changing. So what we're here for. So KW, tech orientation, day one, understanding the journey into big why. So that's kind of what I try to paint for you guys, is that I want you to know that there is invested into you as much as you are in your own business. And hardly any companies can make that same statement from a real estate side of things. So we are recording. All right, so my name is David Donaldson. I'm the regional technology trainer. Okay, I am also the market center tech trainer for our KW United office in Falls Church. Every market center, almost every market center, has a market center tech trainer. So it's basically like somebody like me that is your advocate for command inside your market center. So you'll see on your screen, you'll see your market center number, you'll see the affiliated market center tech trainer for your market center. So what should happen is after you'll meet some of them through these trainings, because I don't do all the trainings. They do some of the trainings too. But at the end, you should be meeting with your market center tech trainers if you haven't done so already. And they're going to hammer home what you learned. And they're going to kind of start to chunk it out for you as you start to roll it out into your business. And it may be your market center tech trainer, it may be working with your productivity coach. You know, they're going to be available to you to work these things a little bit better. Awesome. Hi, Regina. So this is your market center tech trainer. They're an incredible value for you guys. So getting into command and understanding, okay, we need to set it up. So Scholar Roy is a company that a lot of us use to do the one-off settings. You may have worked with your market centers on setting up, or you may have worked with Scott and filled out forms directly, doing some of the one-off things. That's awesome. That's great. And that's there to make it easier for you. I'm going to talk about a couple other things that are important for you to know how and where to access all the things that are available to you. So KW's email platform essentially is Gmail. Okay, just to make it nice and easy, your name at kw.com, that's your Gmail service. That's what we use. KW Connect, which we'll talk about, is essentially YouTube, but it's just for KW. Okay, we put a lot of recordings and trainings and files. You have access to what's called kwconnect.com. There's a lot of training that takes place in there. Agent.kw.com, that's your login page for command. Okay, don't go to command.com. It's agent.kw.com will allow you to log into command. And then answers.kw.com is essentially Google for all things KW technology related. So I want you to bookmark these things because these are the things you're going to log into on a regular basis. Now, 3 of these, KW Connect, agent.kw.com, and answers.kw.com, your login and password is what KW issued you. Okay. Your Gmail email provided you from KW, your password's a little bit different. I'm going to show you where to reset that, maybe make it the same, but understanding that my login passwords for all things KW are using my user ID and password that you would have been emailed by now to have access to. All right. So let's talk about going in here and looking at some of the things. So the first page that I want to go over, okay, is mykw.kw.com. Now this was our old eEdge platform that we're migrating away from to bring everything into command. It takes time, a lot of time, especially when we've been using something for over 10 years. Migrating all that data is so much more than just one line of code, okay? So there are some things that you will still do on a very fundamental basis that you should know that is living or housed inside of mykw.kw.com. So a couple of things I just want to highlight. So there's a profile button right here. This profile is your profile. Now, over the days, we're going to talk about multiple profiles that you have at your disposal. Okay, they need to be complete because they push the different areas. So this literally is just kind of filling in the blank of what's not there yet. Contact information, phone numbers, biography. I'm in a demo account right now, so this isn't actually my account. So that's why some of this is blank.
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
There's a message for me? Oh, okay. Biographies. Telling your story matters. How you tell your story and understanding who your audience is matters. Over time, you'll develop 2 different bios, okay? One is your consumer-facing bio, which will go here and a couple other places, because you need to connect with the general public. Right? Now, as a new agent, I don't want you to trip over the fact that maybe you haven't done any transactions yet. You've got a story, you've got a background, right? Where you came from, where you went to school, what your hobbies are, what previous places did you work for, what is your background, right? Are you a stager? Are you an architect? Are you a painter? Are you a designer, right? Did you come from sales? Were you in the restaurant industry? All those things matter because they're looking for a reason to connect with you. So how you tell your story away from, well, I've done 100 units so far, doesn't matter because the great equalizer in real estate is this. Every successful realtor that you've seen or come across has done the exact same number of transactions that you did when you all started. You know how many units that is? I won't say it all at once. 0. Everybody sold 0 to start. So don't let that fool you into think that you have such a hill to fight. Okay, it's not true. All right, so filling out all this information as best as you can. If you lack any clarity on any of this, you can talk to your Market Center Tech Trainer, but it's pretty straightforward. Now, underneath technology, I'm going to show you a couple of things that you just need to turn on or just make sure are set up. Okay, first, change. I don't want to do change password yet. KWLS. This is a matter of a checkbox. I just want you to make sure this box is turned on. If you click on KWLS, there's a box here that says List Hub enabled. That just helps when you take listings, syndicate out to like 300 different websites. So you just want to make sure that this box is turned on. That's all you got to do. Straightforward, simple. Okay. Now, underneath technology, there is a change password. So you got a user ID and password from KW when you joined. That character string may be a little bit long and hard for you to remember. So if you click on change password, you can come in here and change it. Remember, when you change the password here, it changes the password for all 3 platforms that you may need to log into. MyKW, KW Connect, agent.kw.com, and even your KW mobile app, when we'll talk on that later. Does not change your email password because email is through Gmail, okay? So let's bounce back to that. Underneath technology is KW email. It's probably already set up for you, typically set up when you launch. So you can click on manage email. If you don't have a KW email, you can click sign up. That's fine too. When you go to manage, you'll see your email at the top. I see in this case, because I'm in my demo account, doesn't have one. So if I click sign up, it'll ask me what my domain name is, which is kw.com. There's some pre-approved, which will always revolve around your name. Then you can set your password. A lot of people make this password the same as their KW password, so they don't forget. It's not secure when you have all your passwords the same, but a lot of people like easiness, so you can pick it. I do recommend that your name is your first name, last name at kw.com. Don't get funny with it. Don't start creating a business entity that doesn't exist. That goes against broker standards, right? Don't be like #1 realtor at kw.com. Just use your name. That's professional, okay? Now, some of you may have, I'll look for sure, who has a Gmail? Right? You guys, most of you probably have a Gmail email at this point in your, right? I'm going to kind of go segue for a second. When it comes to email, I want you to treat yourself seriously because you're business owners, right? Your KW email is a professional looking email address. Even though it's Google, at kw.com tells a story, lets everybody know that you're with a company. If I have D Donaldson, world's best realtor at gmail.com, right? It's hokey, it's generic, and it's free, and it's not professional. So don't use at gmail.com. At a minimum, use the KW. Tell the right story from jump. Okay. I don't care that everybody has your Gmail email and this thing. You can forward things. You can set up those forwards on the back end. Get in the habit of using your KW. Now, above the KW email, if you should choose to be an organization, okay, there are laws around things. So if I was a team or a business entity, right, maybe I'm the Revolution Real Estate Group, which I could be, okay? In order for me to do that and have that domain and market myself accordingly, that has to be attached to my license. So if I go out and buy the domain, revolutionrealty.com, and there's some legal ramifications to utilizing that. But if you got approval from your market center and your broker to be a business entity, and you've formed an LLC, and it's attached to your license through Richmond, you could then go into what's called a G Suite account, create a Google email around the domain that you own, and then be David at revolutionrealty.com. And you might use that instead of your KW one, which is perfectly legit and fine and professional. So those are the 3 types of emails you could have. I just implore you and beg of you, for your own sake, don't use free mail. Don't use Gmail. Don't use Livewire, Hotwire, Hot Wheels, whatever it is. YOLO, at me, at Yahoo, right? Some of you still have AOL, and I don't judge. Don't use those free mails. That's just a business lesson for me. Other things your market center may do on this My KW homepage, okay, at the bottom is an intranet. It's your market center training calendar. Some market centers use them, some don't. I don't know, right? So you would save your settings the first time you come in here and set this up, or set your settings, right? And then you see your calendars here. So you can always see what training is going on at a particular day inside of your market centers. And what I recommend that you do is go to your picture on the upper right-hand side, go to edit preferences. Remember, this is recorded, so don't stress. At the bottom, you can set calendar subscriptions and sync this to your phones. Right? So this comes to my Gmail calendar, lets me know anything that's going on in my market center in any particular day, so I can have a site without having to come here every day and look at that calendar. So that's the real value in that particular settings. The other thing that I like to showcase on the homepage from my KW is that we are the largest real estate referral company in the world with 180,000 agents. So if you know of another agent somewhere else, you can look them up under white pages. So we call it the white pages, but essentially, remember those big yellow books you used to get at your house, white pages and yellow pages, right? You can look up other agents inside of KW by name if you know who they are. If you wanted to send me a referral because I live in Ashburn, Virginia, You could search for my name and you would see all my information. That's why I told you it's important to have your profile figured out in the beginning, because it has all your contact information that other agents can see. Now, on the last day next week, we're going to go into referrals in more detail, but this is just an understanding of why this is important. All right. Any questions on the mykw.kw platform that you have at your disposal? No? Okay. All right. Next thing I'm going to show you.
David,
Yeah.
actually, can I ask you something? So we've been having trouble getting in to our Market Center intranet. It puts us onto this page that says redirecting, and I get into a loop.
I would have to see.
Okay, maybe we can do that later. Thanks.
Yep, not a problem. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit other things at your disposal, because self-advocacy is important, right? We train you in these classes. Your market centers may have classes. You may have one-on-ones with your market center tech trainer, but what you do and how you budget your time matters. And understanding that there are a lot of resources available to you to where you can find this information to self-advocate or self-train, right? Maybe at the end of the day, you'd like to unwind with a bottle of wine and learn how to build websites. I don't judge, but that information is available to you at your disposal. Okay, so these classes that I'm teaching are recorded. They're on YouTube. There's a lot of other information that I mentioned. And one of those is answers.kw.com. So if I bring that up here, answers.kw.com, if you remember I said it's basically Google. So you can search by topic in that little bar here, or we can search by topic level. I could say, hey, I need to go into command. And command is chunked out by category. You're going to learn all the applets, but you see that contacts, settings, which is essentially what we're doing today and tomorrow, opportunities, consumer designs, tasks, referrals. Those are all our classes, but they're broken down into a series of fact pages, how-tos, and tutorials that you can step through, right? And under each one of those pages, if you were to click on them, would be listed out what's behind those doors. Or you could literally just search for a topic. If I needed information on DocuSign, which is our digital library now, you can find workflows and categories on that. So whenever you're having a challenge or you need help, I always recommend you come here first, because it's updated all the time. When we make a new change to something, it's a guy named Paul Polanski that he writes all these articles and builds them all out on the back end for us. Now, getting help is something else I want to address right now. There are times, and there are 3 types of help that you will typically fall into buckets or categories. Okay, and that's where your Market Center tech trainer is your help. Okay, that's the first person you should pick up the phone or email to get support with something. It's your Market Center tech trainer, because they're going to take your concern, your challenge, and they'll put it in one of 3 buckets. Either A, the issue you're having is a training issue. You don't know how to do yet what you need to do. So that's what you're asking them. They will help you identify that, and they'll either help you or point you in the direction, show you an article or whatever it is you need to do that you weren't able to find. Training. 2, you might be trying to get the platform to do something that it doesn't do yet. It's called a feature request. Okay. And they'll say, hey, you know what? I love where you're coming from on that. It doesn't do that, or it doesn't do it this specific way that you're looking for it to do. Let me show you how to do it. Or, hey, that's in development because it's an unfinished product. Or 3, you could actually make a suggestion. Ideas.kw.com is a platform where agents can go in and make recommendations. You remember in the beginning where I said this was a platform that was built for agents by agents? This is why I can say that. Because KW, and by KW I mean Gary and Carl and Matt and Mark and Jason, every Monday have a meeting and look at ideas.kw.com to see what the agents are saying and looking for out of their platform. And this makes its way back to the development team to see what future versions of Command are going to include. So don't ever feel that you're not being heard, because I can assure you that you are. And you could go in here and search for your topic and might find that it already exists, and you can vote on it. The more we vote on things, the more things scratch or itch, the more power we have to make change. All right. Now, the other thing, the third thing, so 3 things that I mentioned, right? There's a training opportunity, there's a feature request, or third thing is might actually be the platform is not functioning as intended and you're experiencing a challenge. I will always want you to contact your Market Center tech trainer. However, you may over time realize what it does and doesn't do, and you identify, yeah, it's broken, I need to tell somebody. You're going to want to tell them. But you can submit a ticket request right here at the top to KW directly. Now, I want you to do this at all times, okay, for a lot of things. So if it's a major outage, I don't want you to assume that you bring new value to saying, hey, this is down and everybody knows it's down. Because it asks a lot of questions that might be specific to your experience, because you might be utilizing on a different device or tablet or phone or computer or operating system. As we all know, Apple and PC are created differently. I don't judge those that use Apple, but we understand that they're special, okay? Monica, it's okay to smile. I do make jokes as bad as they can be at times, okay? So they need that type of information. They need to crowdsource the information from everybody. It might be local, might be the market center, might be specific or unique to you. So don't think that your information is not valid. And when you enter a ticket in, they will communicate you with any improvements or tests or changes or fixes that come down. So it's always good to submit that information. The first couple times you do this, I do recommend that you talk to the WHO, your Market Center tech trainer, because they'll give you insight too, because they're usually up to speed of things that are going on. So that's answersbykw.com and support. That's how we kind of handle those things. Okay, they're great tools for you. So we're going to talk next about KW Connect. Bring up my screen. KW Connect, if you recall, I reference is similar to YouTube in that it's a lot of online videos that we have available to you. We're migrating, just like the My KW platform, we're in the process of migrating a lot that's on Connect all into Command. It's just not all there yet. So I want to show you a couple of important things that you should get in the habit of checking out regularly inside of Connect, okay? So one, there's a calendar. So I mentioned your Market Center calendar, which if your Market Center is utilizing, it should push here. We do also we're starting to do from the regional level, put regional trainings on here. So I'm working on putting these types of classes out into the region so you can see them, where you would be able to go in and sign up and register your attendance. This is kind of somewhere we're developing this better that will be available to you. Next to calendar is training. There's a Connect Live training calendar. So this is something you should look at. And what I tell everybody, or I recommend everybody does, at some point in time before the week starts, whether it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you spend some time working in your business and looking at what trainings are coming up. So you've got your local trainings at your Market Center, you've got local trainings at the regional level. There are also trainings at the KWRI level. That's what Connect Live is. I call these classes that we do Command Daily Live. They're every day from 10 to 11 over a 2-week period. KWRI does a Connect Daily Live where they will do 2 training sessions every day. They vary in time, usually anywhere, typically about a half hour, sometimes an hour, on all kinds of different topics. Sometimes they're command related, sometimes they're business related, new agents, existing agents, mega agents, rainmakers. And you can go through here and see what's going on in this particular week. Oh, go back a page. Here we go. So this week, setting up social media for high demand markets, manage your talent for growth, referrals on Tuesday. So you can schedule out the week and say, hey, you know, what do I need to attend? You can click on any of these, get information, and you can register and attend or just jump in at that time. Do take notice that the times are central. We're on the East Coast, we're an hour ahead. So just be conscious of the time differences here. The nice thing about these classes, just like mine, is that they're recorded. So if you happen to miss something, you can come back to Connect Live on demand. And usually within a couple of days, I've seen them anywhere between 48 hours and 5 days, depending on the context and the size of the training, they'll be back up under Command and Live demand. So you can always go back and watch this, which is awesome. Next to training is resources. Again, you see the live calendar, so that's the same thing. There's a welcome to associates. I do recommend that you go through there, right? I'm doing your welcome and a tech orientation now. This covers things similar, but a little bit different, and embedded links into training that KW is providing. So you might find value in looking at the KW way of setting up your website or training or staying informed. And you can look at those how I do them and how the region does them, and kind of take best practices for you. So welcome new associates. Underneath resources is a good spot for you. All right. Next to that is technology. I like this Command Your Business tab. And where this is different than what I'm doing is that it's smaller bite-sized pieces. So I'll teach one applet per day over 8 days. So this training regimen that you're going through right now with me will go from today through next Thursday, Monday through Thursday, no Fridays. 8 classes will cover everything. And in here, what they do is they take those applets and they bite them down even more, right? Building your database may have 5 videos associated with it. I'll cover all this on a 1-hour topic, which you can come back through here and you can do it in even smaller increments, right? Again, understanding our audience. Some people will watch longer videos and implement as they go on. Some people need those back pages that I showed you on answers.kw.com. Small people need even smaller videos that are more specific that they can watch over and over and over again while they're mastering some sort of element inside the platform. So that's Command Your Business. Those are the big things. There's a lot of other information in here for you, but those are the big ones that I like to highlight, at least from the beginning. But like anything else, you can go in here and just start clicking around, right? Get comfortable with the platform, see what are behind all these different doors. Understand that you also have a profile here that we'll touch on later in the referral. This is your agent-to-agent facing profile. This is what other agents will see inside of KW, and we'll jump into that when we take a deeper dive into profiles. All right. Any questions on KW Connect? No? Okay, awesome. All right, a couple other places where you can get information. I talked earlier to you about Scott Leroy. He has a lot of videos, just like we have on Connect and like I have in the region, but different voice, where you can go to scottleroymarketing.com and log in. The login for Scott Leroy is your market center number. Every market center in the region has a Scott Leroy account. So it'll just be your market center number. You guys all know what your market center numbers are? Okay. Now, we also have a regional YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, and I'm going to put this into chat, just so you all have it. If you see the chat box here, I'm posting a link directly to our regional YouTube channel. If you follow the YouTube channel, anytime I post a new training or somebody from the region posts a new training, you'll get a notification. That's YouTube. That's how it works. We also have a regional Facebook technology page, which again, I recommend that you follow. And I just put that into chat. And why that's great is that I post smaller snippets of training or bite-sized information, things that you need to know in the now. Maybe there's an outage or something that's down. I'll post that, or Market Center Tech Trainers will post it. You might have a question on something that you can't figure out. You can ask it in the open forum, and other agents or Market Center Tech Trainers like myself will help you get information that you're looking for. So it's a great page that's just for our region, that's just for KW Associates. So again, as you can see, there's a lot of avenues to get information. We just want to make sure that that's clear. The thing that breaks my heart the most is when somebody says, I didn't know. There's a lot of places to know. You just have to open our ears and open our eyes and say, okay, yeah, I got to bookmark some of these things and know where I go to get that information on an as needed basis. First and foremost, most important person in your world, your Market Center Tech Trainer. Keep saying that because I read someone once said, if you say it over and over again, repetition, right? Then people will come in. All right, so next, I already talked to you about support. This is kind of the process. You will report something to your Market Center Tech Trainer. Now, if your Market Center Tech Trainer deems it, don't take this the wrong way. To you, it's important, incredibly important. I understand. The Market Center Tech Trainers are going to make an informed decision as to whether or not I need to know about it. Okay, they might be able to handle it, get the ticket in, take care of it. If it's a big deal, they're going to let me know that I'm going to work with it, or I will escalate it even higher. So that's kind of our order of priorities that says, okay, we need to escalate things. I have the ability to do that. I can reach out to somebody directly if I feel like I need to ring that bell. Right? That's how our support channels do work. All right, I already covered my KW. I covered Connect. And now we're going to jump into Command. Command is where we're going to spend the next 7 days after today. It's going to be all about Command for the most part, okay? So when you log into Command, you're going to log in, you're going to land on this home page, right? When I click on the red KW in the upper left-hand side, these applets pop out. Remember, I talked about Command being a platform, no different than your cell phone. These are all the applets inside of Command that you will start to utilize in your business. First one you will always log in and land on is your home page. And your home page here is going to be unique to you because you get to customize it. See this little customize home in the upper right-hand side? You customize that home button. You see these widgets on the left that you can check on or check off. And then when I turn them on, okay, then they show up here on the right-hand side. Anytime you see something with 6 dots next to it, it means I can move it. And that's an industry standard. It's not just a command standard. If you typically see, 6 dots next to something, it means I can drag these things around. So if I move these around, okay, all right, at the top, at the bottom, I want this in there, but I want it at the top. Play around with this. There's no right or wrong here. Then once I hit apply, okay, my dashboard view changed based off of what I just told you, right? So there are different applets, right? Tasks, they are what they sound like they are. These, what do I need to do today in my business? Okay, who do I need to call? Product updates. Well, that's an announcement from KW where every week, because it is a never finished platform, we will tell you what changes or updates we made to the platform. Goals. Did you set your goals with a productivity coach? And how are you achieving your goals? Design updates. We'll talk about designs inside of platforms that are available to you. Notepad. Do I need to take notes on something today? My database health score. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And leads. Do I have new leads in my database? So that's all you see here on your dashboard. Okay. Now, across the top, you'll see Marketplace. We have the ability to plug in different apps that work with Command. We're not going to cover on that now, but that'll come in later, more advanced type of stuff. But if you're utilizing any other platforms, there are certain things we can do to make them work inside of Command to a degree. This little bell, it's a notification bell. So if one of your contacts or somebody through your database email you, text you, you'll have a little red dot here. Now that red dot will also go out to an app that I want you to download. Go to your App Store or your Google Play Store. I want you to download an app called Kelly. K-E-L-L-E. Okay, K-E-L-L-E. Kelly is, for all intents and purposes right now, a modified version of a mobile version of this. It works very much like a pager, right? Remember pagers from high school? Again, I'm dating myself a little bit. All the cool kids have them, right? Kelly will notify you if you're away from your desktop. You get a little buzz, notification, hey, so-and-so reached out, you have a new contact, new communications, I mean, you should call them, as well as a lot of things that happen inside of Kelly. KW's developing, and we're testing right now, a fully integrated Command mobile version, which will be great. The other option is you can actually go to, on your phone, you can go to Chrome. If I haven't said it yet, I don't think I did today. Anybody an Apple user? Okay, it's okay if you are, don't hide. You should always be logging into Chrome, not Safari, not Opera, not Microsoft Edge. Always use Chrome. Right? Chrome is the best search engine and desktop that you should be using to function with all things Command. But if you actually go into your phone and go into Chrome and go to agent.kw.com and log in and bookmark to your home screen, it works like a modified mobile app. So everything, your desktop version of Command, while not a fully integrated mobile app, you have a lot of the same functionality. So just a little notice for you. All right, we continue to walk across the top here. You see your picture. And then underneath that, you see profile, settings, training, and logout. All right, so this profile is a little confusing. It is one of your 2 profiles, okay? You have a marketing profile, and you have an agent-to-agent facing profile that we will go into more detail about. First thing you're going to work on is your marketing profile, which is not this profile. This is your agent-to-agent profile. So you will actually come into settings. Okay, now on the left-hand side of settings, you will go to Connect Settings, and there's your marketing profile. Now, I have requested that this surface a little bit better, but I don't always get what I wish. Monica, if I put you to sleep. That's why I like having my cameras on. Click on marketing profile, and you'll upload your information. Things you're going to have, right? You need a headshot. I don't care if you put on your business cards. I don't. Okay, I have a voice for radio, not a face for television, right? But there is a need to have your online likeness so people know when they're going to meet you, relatively speaking, that they know who you are. Okay. Now, when it comes to your photo, please use something relevant. I've worked in this business long enough to know that there are people still using their high school glamour shots, and they've been out of high school for 35 years. Don't be that person. Okay. So get a good professional headshot. Most market centers will bring people in. Your phones do a pretty good job, but it's not the same thing as having a professional photo because you'll get different levels of print quality. So you're going to want to do that. Okay. Everything else is marked with a red asterisk as a needed thing. Bio. We talked about bios here. This is your consumer-facing bio. Now, in the beginning, your agent-to-agent bio, your market center bio may be one and the same. However, over time, you're going to do different things within KW. You may become a member of a committee through your ALC. You may be a member of the ALC. You may go to family reunion or mega camp or attend Bold or Ignite. These are all different great training courses we have or events. If you told the general public that you went to these things, they would have no idea what you're talking about, nor would they really care too much. Okay. However, from an agent-to-agent standpoint, those things do matter. Agents do care if you attended Bold. Agents do care if you're a member of the ALC. Agents do care if you're a market center instructor. So when you start doing those things, update your profiles accordingly. And that's why I said they will vary and different. Your agent to agent and your agent to consumer, those stories will start to diverge. Okay, market center information, compliance, content information, your social media links, your business page, your Twitter handle, your YouTube channel, or LinkedIn, if you have those things, will all go into play here. And I always get this question, hey, what is Facebook Pixel or Google Analytics? And my simple answer for those of you that are new, that if you have to ask that question, don't worry about it. If you know what those things are, then you put those in there and you know exactly what they're for. They're for tracking online websites, right? Advertising that happens in the back end. Our platform is not so dynamic right now that you need to worry about those things, but for some people that are into that, you have those capabilities. All right. Also, underneath settings, as we start to wrap down for today, your page is going to look a little bit different than mine, okay? Because I have all my settings connected and you don't yet. Most of the market centers, if not all at this point, are utilizing DocuSign. So you need to have a DocuSign account connected. I won't go into DocuSign through our next 8 days. I actually am working on a DocuSign class for the region, but do look to your market centers for DocuSign training right now. But first thing you do need to do is make sure your DocuSign account is connected. If you've been a realtor for a while and you previously have a DocuSign account, this will be a different account. It will not be the same. They don't sync that way, so you will have to have a different DocuSign account. Over the next couple of days, we'll talk more about these additional settings, but I want you to start thinking things through and pulling your login and passwords for certain things. At this point, I imagine all of you, except maybe the smallest 0.0001% of you, will have a Facebook account at this point. You're going to need your login credentials and you're going to need a business page. If you don't have a business page, you're going to need to build one in order to do advertising and post scheduling to your business pages through Command. We'll talk about that next week, but most people trip up on knowing what their Facebook login and passwords are because they're forgotten about and automatic inside your platform. You'll need your KW login credentials to sync your Gmail accounts in here. If you use Twitter, then you'll need those login credentials. We'll cover that on designs. And later in the week, we'll talk about Command, email, and Twilio, which is the texting service that's available to you. So start pulling the data, the headshots, the bio, your contact information, start thinking about, okay, I need to popularize my profile and put these things set up in the back end. Now, one last thing I'm going to show you across the top is this little question mark. Question mark is just another way to get more information on the fly. There are guided tours inside of Command. Something else that we're building out right now, you'll start to see purple boxes. And I've already done them. That's why you're not seeing. If you haven't done If you haven't done the, can't talk. If you've done them, then they won't show up here. If you haven't done them yet, then they'll see here. There's step-by-step tutorials. On-screen bubbles will pop up and walk you through what certain things are on the screen. That's what the guidance is. KW University is basically it's searching through the answers.kw.com. That's what's happening here. And the cool thing is, depending on where you are in command, it'll start recommending articles based off of what page you are in command, thinking that, hey, you might be looking for information around this. So that's kind of what you see on this main screen here. Chat with support. You can chat directly with support. There's one thing I didn't cover. I was told I steer you back to your market center. Again, they're going to say, hey, are you having problems with these things? They'll surface those articles. You can say, no, I actually need to talk to somebody. I can click get in touch, and I wanted to either do a live chat or send them a message. Problem with live chat is this. There's 180,000 agents. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but not all regions are created equal, or not all market centers are created equal as far as the information they're able to provide to them. And a lot of agents go to chat because they need help with training. So that bogs down chat. Right? Chat is meant to be there for support, right? Something's broken, I need help with something. You may find at certain points of the day, if you're in chat, there may be a long wait time. That's all I'm kind of prefacing that with. And that's why I always tell you to go to your market center tech trainer first, and then live chat second, or send them a message where they'll follow after and get back to you. All right. It's good to know that that's there. And then post an idea is just another direct link to that ideas.kw.com, because you have a super awesome idea that you think we would all benefit from, and you want to share that with KW and say, hey, we think that this should have this WYSIWYG or whatever it is that you had in your mind. So you can send that in. All right. We'll come back to the home page. And we got about 5 minutes left. I just want to make sure I'm going to walk through my slides here and make sure that I covered everything. Connect, command. Okay, the only thing I didn't know, I told you about the Kelly app. You also have a realtor app, okay? Now, the realtor app that I also want you to download this. I want you to go into the App Store or the Google Store or Apple Store and download the KW mobile app. And what that is, that's search, okay? When you download that app, it's going to ask you to create an account. Now, this is kind of a little confusing, and you need to disassociate yourself as the agent and yourself, the consumer. It's a consumer-driven app. So when you go to log in, if you try to log in with your KW ID and password, it's not going to work because it doesn't know that you're you, right? So you have to think of yourself, Monica, as a consumer, not Monica the realtor. And you would go in and create an account so you can search, okay? What I do recommend you do is that you create an account, but use your non-business account. In this case, I'll tell you it's okay to use your Gmail. Use and create an account that's a bogus, your everyday non-realtor email, and create an account for yourself and go through that experience of searching for properties, liking properties, and see how it engages with command, because we're going to touch a little bit more in context tomorrow. You'll see that when your consumers have an account and created an account and are searching properties, command will track that for you, and you can see it on the back end what your clients have been looking at. So going in and utilizing those tools so you're comfortable with them, so that when you get them out to your consumers, is a win-win for you. All right. Last thing for today is our training calendar for the week, right? So today is orientation day, 10 o'clock. Welcome. Thank you for coming. So every day for the next 2 weeks, except for Fridays, it's Monday through Thursday, 10 to 11, we will train over one of these applets. Tomorrow, we're going to jump into contacts. And the reason we're doing this is they kind of build on each other, right? You gain momentum going through all these training classes. And every day you learn a little bit more. And honestly, I don't expect you to memorize everything you learn. That's just impossible. Okay? So you're more than welcome to attend these training classes multiple times, because you will learn a little bit each time. So tomorrow we'll go into contacts. Wednesday we'll go into smart plans. Thursday we'll go into opportunities. Roll over to next week, we'll go over to consumer, which is basically the mobile app and website. Tuesday we'll go into designs. Wednesday campaigns. Thursday referrals. And then on week 3 we start over again at week 1. So trainings are the same. They're static week to week. The only time we ever don't have a training or skip a training is if something happens, like a holiday or a big event, and we'll just skip whatever training was set up for that day. And then the next day will be whatever the scheduled training was. So like just a perfect example, the Monday, the 4th of July, right? If they, whether it was an orientation day or a consumer day, we would skip that class, we come back on Tuesday, and then it would be whatever class is scheduled for Tuesday. I typically will tell everybody in advance, hey, we're going to be closed this day, and I'll post a previously recorded session that we will cover that day for you guys to go back and watch. With that being said, stop share, full screen. Any questions for everything that we went over today? Day one is a lot. There's a lot thrown at you, a lot to digest. We will always lead off the next day with questions around the previous day as you digest those things and start to throw yourself into the platform, start to get comfortable with it. But with that, any questions for anything we talked about today? Michael, you good? Ted, you're trouble.
Yeah, that's me. Good class there, David. Appreciate your time, man.
Always. Vicky, you've been through this a little bit before you started to digest this. So here's a perfect example. Like Vicky's new, but she's going through this a second time. You're starting to hear these things and you're digesting it a little bit more each time, right? I know you can't talk, so you're just bobbing your head up and down, which is cool. That's always welcome. If you guys need anything or follow-up support, you can get a hold of your Market Center Tech Trainer. My email is daviddonaldson@kw.com, but I do ask that you go to them first because my response time is not always as responsive as theirs is. Danielle, how you doing over there? Good. All right. You're further away. I wasn't seeing your face, so it's harder to call on you. But I do my best to call on everybody. Right, Barbara? She's checking out. But it's 11 o'clock. I will see you all at 10 o'clock.
You're exactly right, David.
There she is. I will see you all at 10 o'clock tomorrow to go into contacts. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Bye-bye now.